What is up, my fair people? It is I, Willie Cage, the one, the only. Got a new hair color going on. Green, looks groovy. But that's not what we're here for. What we're here for today is the one, the only, a movie review. Now, what is this movie we're thinking about right now? Or at least I'm thinking about. It is Happy Death Day. Woo! This one, pretty good movie. I won't say anything else to the end, but I really enjoy it. Now, for those of you who haven't seen Happy Death Day, here's a little sprinkle of what it's about. You know, it's what we do in these videos here. I know I've been AFK for about 1 week, but, you know, it's worth it. In the end, it's worth it. Maybe. Who knows? But basically, this movie is about a college kid named Jessica. And basically, you know, she wakes up one day, chilling, goes about her day, and all of a sudden she gets killed. And when she wakes up, she's repeating the same day. And it just keeps happening and happening and happening. So basically, she keeps repeating the same day every time she gets killed. So she got to figure out who killed her, stop it, so she could continue with her life. Now, honestly, when it comes to this idea, I like it. It's pretty groovy. You know, I would say it's super original, but it's not as far as I know, because there is a movie called Groundhog Day. I haven't seen it, but, you know, it's basically the same premise of somebody living the same day over and over. I don't know if it's horror or what, or, you know, but anyhow, when it comes to this movie, you know, I thought it was pretty groovy like a movie, because that's what it was. Honestly, when it came to the kills weren't all there, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is a PG-13 movie, so, you know, with those movies, it's a little risky in the bisky, but, you know, we do get to see her get killed over and over and over, which is really cool, but you don't really get to see the kill, you know what I'm saying? So, like, one of the first times she gets stabbed, I can't remember if it's in the chest or like her throat slit or whatever, she gets her head beaten with a bat. But before, like, all the blood and everything, she already wakes up before it happens, you know? So it's like, and then she wakes up. So you don't really get to see the kill, but the kills are pretty cool. So it's like a 50-50 thing. But, you know, that just comes with the PG-13 thing. And, you know, another thing, since we're on the negative side at first, usually I think I do groovy and not so groovy, but anyway, we'll go a little backwards today. You know, it's a crazy movie, and I get a crazy way of doing this video. But honestly, when it came to the characters, there were some, you know, good characters and whatnot, but I feel like there was a couple misses. For example, we have her father in one of the scenes in the movie. You know, he's like calling throughout the whole movie, and she never picks up, and eventually, you know, after dying so many times, she eventually, like, goes have dinner with her father, whatever. It's a little more deeper than that, but so he's only there for that one scene. You know, you don't really care for the father. Like, you know what I'm saying? They make it, like, super emotional, but, you know, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? It's not really anything, because this character just kind of shows up. For me, at least. Another one is the guy that's, like, kind of into her, kind of not into her, and kind of into her and not into her, because I think he's, like, in the closet or something. Like, he's kind of just there. At first, he looks like one of those, like, weird guys I can't take a hint and, you know, just move on to the next chick. But he kind of just shows up and he's like, why didn't you answer my texts? And that's all it really is to him, you know? Another person that they could have actually gave more to was one of her sorority sisters. Yeah, I know, sorority in college, you know? Hand in hand. But she's just like some Asian chick just sitting outside the sorority every time she repeats her day in the movie. She waves hi at her and she never gets waved hi back, but she has, like, no dialogue or anything. She's kind of just chilling there, which I think they try to make her look, like, suspicious in a way, because when it comes to the killer, this movie's all like Scream, in the sense that you don't know, like, who the killer is, because the whole movie's just trying to figure it out, right? I mean, if you knew, it wouldn't be much of a surprise in a way. But, you know, some of the characters were, like, there to be suspects, but, you know, it would make zero sense if they were actually the killer of why they would be, you know what I'm saying? And on the topic of killers, let's talk about the killers. You know, if you already made it this far, you've already went over a couple spoilers, but there is dose killers, kind of like the original Scream in a way. Ripping off a little too hard? Who knows? So the first killer is the mastermind killer. It's like her sorority roommate. I think that's what it is. And basically, she's hella jelly that she's sleeping with a guy she likes, so she basically wants to kill her. Yeah, that's basically it. Now, it's not really much of a motive, but, you know, it gets the movie going, and she kind of tries. The way she wants to, like, assassinate her originally is to give her a poisonous cupcake, which I only think works on certain people, not sorority chicks. It's pretty funny because at the end of the movie, one of the leader of the sorority is like, we don't even eat carbs, bro. And honestly, for her, I don't really, you know what I'm saying? She didn't really have the killer feel to her in a way. Like, I don't really understand. Like, when she was like, I found out she was the killer because I watched this movie way back and I just rewatched it again. So that's why I'm reviewing it. Duh. I'm like, you know, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, if she's just sleeping with the boyfriend, well, not the boyfriend, sleeping with some dude she likes, you know, you think she'd move on. You know, maybe she gets some salty, but not enough to kill somebody. So it's like, she is kind of rude and whatnot, but you know, it is what it is. But she is pretty smart because for the second killer is like an actual like sadistic killer. It's like some random dude that was like out killing teenage girls or college campus girls or whatever. And since she worked in the hospital, forgot to mention that, she was able to, you know, set him a little loose. So, you know, once people find that Jessica's dead, it'll look like, well, the dude that was just straight up murdering these chicks is kind of gone. So 1 and 1, you know. Now, what I thought was super funny in this movie was like, or at least that demonstrated super good in a way, is like the realism is of if somebody was actually reliving the same day over and over. Because, like, yeah, she dies the first time, then the second time, it's just, like, all, like, slowly kind of, like, living deja vu. Except it's not one moment, it's, like, the entire day. And then she slowly just starts to go a little more crazy and whatnot, you know? I feel like that would be, that's legit, you know? Because if that was me, the first time, you know, everything, I go, I die, whatever. Second time, I'm like, around the third or fourth time, I'm probably going to be going crazy. I don't know if I'd be able to figure out that I needed to find somebody that killed me. Or maybe I do, because, I mean, you do remember, or at least she did remember, the last time she was killed and whatnot. The only thing that would drive me super crazy is that super funny ringtone that she hears every single morning. Now, the one thing, I'm going to backtrack a little on the characters, is this one character, Carter. You know, obviously, you know, you're going to know who he is, because she wakes up every morning and he's like, oh, do you remember my name? Carter. And it's kind of weird because at first, you know, it is what it is, blah, blah, blah. But after, like, X amount of time she dies, she keeps having to repeat that she's doing the same day over and over. And, you know, he doesn't really believe her in a way, but he's like, you know, if it is, there you gotta, you know, he helps her out. He's like the secondary character. But when it comes to, like, the last bit of the movie, where she already died, like, a bunch of times, and she's, like, talking to him, whatever, he just kind of, like, rolls with it, which is kind of weird because, you know, they end up becoming, like, a thing from what I've seen at the end of the movie. But if you think about it, all he knows is that she woke up in a dorm room. Well, he let her sleep in the dorm room, you know. He helped her out a little bit. She thinks she's living the same day over and over, and she survived this killer. All right. That's all he knows. But to her, she has, like, this whole experience with him saving her, this, that, which is, she has, like, this much knowledge of what's going on with him, and he's just, like, known this girl for 2 days, and he's already, like, madly in love with her. Which is, like, doesn't she seem a bit crazy? Because if that was me, if I was him, you know, I'd be like, are you, like, insane? Because to me, I wake up tomorrow, the next day, I didn't repeat the same day 500 times. But, you know, it is what it is. But the really funny thing is the two fake out scenes. The first one's when she gets, when she thinks she got the killer, and at the end, it's her and Carter, and then they eat the cupcake, and then she wakes up, whatever. I thought that was pretty funny. But the second one, I thought was pretty funny, because the whole movie goes by, you know, she falls asleep, she killed her roommate, she killed the other killer, and then, boom, the whole day, you know, everything's done. You should be moving on to the next day. But all of a sudden, that ringtone goes off again, but it's just this dude pranking her. You know, but this movie does have a pretty groovy message. And what is that message, you may ask? Willie Cage here. That message is, you never know what moment is your last moment, you know? So try to be a decent human being for the most part. Or at least that's what I got from it. Because when you watch the movie, she is a total biatch in the beginning. Like, totally rude to everyone. Just all about, I don't even know, man. She's just rude. Like, if I encountered her in person, I'd be like, wow, that was a bitch. You know, but slowly like, when she repeats her days, she starts becoming a better person. Because she's like, there's one of the moments where she's, with the sorority sisters or whatnot, and they're just, the first time, she and her other sisters are, like, rude to this woman for no reason, just because she's eating breakfast, and like, oh, we don't eat breakfast, this, that, and this, and they, like, fucking there's mean to her. But then as the things keep going and going and going, she's like, wow, like, what the hell, bro? We're like, why are we being mean to her for? You like, you know, in a way she doesn't actually say that, but that's how I read it. She gets up and dumps some chocolate milk on the lead bitch's head, and then she's like, peace out, which is funny because she ends up dying, so it never happens in a sense. But you know, you see the character progression in a way. You know, she becomes a better human. That's what I take with it. You know, just be a groovy person and just be groovy to people. You know, and you know, that's all I really got to say about this movie. You know, I super enjoyed it when I first watched it, and I super enjoyed it the second time. Who knows, I might super enjoy it the third time I see it, but I only seen it 2 times right now, so who's to say what's to say. But I did get the second one. Happy Death Day to you. And I'm going to watch that one. I only seen I seen like the beginning of it. I never finished it though, but we'll get to that when we get to it, all right? Now, this next video could either be that or Jeepers Creepers 2, because I did watch that one. But other than that, my favorite people, you're thinking, I know what you're thinking. You're sitting back in your chair with your snacks, you're chilling, relaxing, maxing all good, shooting some b-ball outside of the school or whatever. But you're thinking in your head. You're sitting back and you're thinking, Willie Cage, what do you and your super awesome critical reviewing skills rate this movie on the Willie Cage scale? And to that, my fair people, that can only be one thing and one thing only, which is the answer I come to you with. Of course, it's only one thing. It's the answer. And I gotta say, at a scale from 1 to 10, what does Willie Cage give it? Well, I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna shoot it up in the air, but kill me if I'm wrong. And let me repeat the same day over and over until I find out that you're the killer and I kill you. Then I rate this movie a solid 6.5 out of 10. I know. I said it was awesome and whatever. What 6.5? You're insane in the membrane, Willie Cage. No, I'm not. And let me tell you why. Sit back down and let me tell you why. Before you kill me and I repeat my days until I find you, I'll tell you why. It's not because the movie was trash, because the movie's pretty awesome. You know, go watch it. I'm telling you right now, go watch it, go buy it, go rent it, do whatever, and watch it. But the reason why it's lower than usual, because, you know, usually I'm watching these movies people say are bad, and I'm giving them good scores, like Rob Zombie's movies, I love. But what do those movies have that this movie didn't have? Only a true Willie Cage fan would know. I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Blood and guts, my good people. Blood and guts. What's my favorite video game? Mortal Kombat. It got blood and guts. I love Rob Zombie's movie because the blood and guts, my fools. The awesome kills, the creative kills, you know? But this movie, it had the creativeness and it had the kills, you know, in a way. But not being able to fully see the kills kind of killed it for me. Haha, get it? Honestly, like, I get like she's repeating her days, but you know, maybe they should have showed a little more blood, you know, lifted up that skirt a little bit more. Maybe I should have did this arm to show, like, maybe she gets stabbed 3 times, show some blood pouring out, and then she falls on the floor, bleeds out. Or, you know, maybe when she gets her head beaten with that bat, she gets hit like 2 or 3 times, and then it cuts out into the next day. But, you know, that was one of the things that, like, killed it for me. And another thing is, like, when they try to do, like, the scream effect or the Among Us type of thing where there's, like, you got to figure out who the killer is. But when they threw these characters in, it's like, obviously it's not the gay dude. Obviously it's not the Asian chick that's sitting right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't really throw fake out in a way of like, oh, it might be that guy if the person has 0 to them, you know? It's kind of like, yo, this pencil is very important to the video. And then you never see it again. You know, it makes no sense. Why would I include that if it has nothing to do with it, you know? Like, I get you need characters to show it's a sorority, but man, you know what I'm saying? Add a little pizzazz, a little sprinkle of something on there. Other than that, it wasn't too much of a big deal. Just a lot of it has to do with the personal preference of, like, the kills and being, like, super, like, bloody. I'm sorry. If they added that, it could have been a little, maybe 0.5, maybe a whole point more, but on that Willie Cage scale, that's what I got to give that score. But other than that, my beautiful people, why don't you go and have an amazing day. You know, just go have an amazing day and wait till I deliver more awesomeness to you. Other than that, love, peace, chicken grease.